It's no secret that a favorite pastime in the Smokies is taking a ride on one of the many area chairlifts. Gatlinburg has historically been the area's king of the lift. Ober Mountain, formerly Ober Gatlinburg, and Skylift Park were the first, and for a long time the exclusive choices in town to take a ride up the mountain. Most recently in Gatlinburg, Anakista opened their Chondola ride in 2017. Past that, Sevierville and Wears Valley have included skylifts of their own with Skyland Ranch and the Hawk at Harper Brothers respectively. What's so great about having so many choices regarding chairlifts is that each one brings something different to the table. From bird's eye views of towns and wildlife, flying over attractions, to panoramic mountain views, they have it all. So we're going to take a deeper look at each and go over our favorite things about each location. Compare and contrast, and hopefully for your next Smokies trip, you'll be better informed about what each skylift brings to the table. Without further ado, let's get started. First up, Ober Mountain. According to their website, Ober Skylift is one of the most peaceful rides in the Smokies. The scenic chairlift allows you to see some of the best views in the Smokies. It provides an impressive 779-foot rise in elevation above the mountaintop park, and at 3,019 feet in length, it is the longest chairlift of its kind in the United States. This ride takes you to the peak of Mount Harrison at 3,455 feet above sea level, more than 1,650 feet higher than any other chairlift in Gatlinburg or in the entire state of Tennessee. Here you can see as far as Douglas Lake on a clear day, and it provides a flawless view of Mount LeConte on just about any day. The towers of this scenic lift were built in 1956 for the Italy Winter Olympic Games, but were not actually used for them. The Gatlinburg Ski Corporation bought them to create the lift for the Big John Slope. Made of pure steel, these towers can last indefinitely with proper care. They were upgraded in 2014 with a new drive system and chairs. There's a lot of history associated with this skylift, and you get views from the top that reach farther than any other in Gatlinburg. While you can see farther in one direction, trees do obstruct the panoramic views you'll get from other lifts. They did replace the chairs in 2014, but the new chairs are still just two-seaters. The ride in general did feel a little sketchier than some of the others. If you're reluctant to get on a skylift to begin with, you may want to sit this one out. I would compare it to getting on a 737 after being accustomed to the feel of an Airbus. Overall though, this is a very peaceful ride with a gorgeous view at the top. Our next lift takes us to Skyland Ranch in Sevierville. Skyland's aptly named Horizon Sky Ride takes you to the top of Skyland Ranch for sweeping views of Sevierville and the Smokies in the distance. It is a short ride, will get you to the top quickly. If the journey of a skylift is part of the experience for you, it might be a tad disappointing. However, on the ride up, the lift provides a bird's eye view of the Wild Stallion mountain coaster. Once at the top, Skyland Ranch seems to have played a great deal off of Gatlinburg's Anakista, which will be mentioned later. There are food trucks, a restaurant, a mountain coaster, Legacy Lookout, which is a path that walks through the trees to a view, live music, and a miniature petting zoo. As Skyland Ranch just recently opened, there are sure to be new additions to what they have to offer guests in the future. Our visit to Skyland Ranch was right after their opening, so we didn't get the full experience of what the ranch has to offer. The main highlight of this lift experience wasn't going up or being at the top, but it was the ride down. On our return trip, the sun was setting, which offered some spectacular color to the already amazing view. Now this just may be a preference thing, but for us the big issue with Skyland Ranch is it's so far from the mountains. Our other chairlift experiences have always ended on the top, or at least with the feeling of being on top of the Smokies. Next up, we travel to Wears Valley and ride the Hawk at Harper Brothers General Store. The atmosphere here on the Hawk is different from any other chairlifts in the area. Completely surrounded by endless mountains and foothills, this ride truly feels as if it elevates you into the Smokies. Along the first half of the ride, the lift follows the horse path, where you will be flying over other Harper Brothers guests riding horses. There are times on this ride, especially in the second half, where you hear nothing but the sounds of the forest. Once at the top, you are just a couple hundred feet from the park boundary and are greeted with gorgeous panoramic views of the mountains. A round-trip ride is a minimum of 30 minutes, but you are free to stay on top as long as you would like to enjoy their swings, rockers, cornhole boards, and to grab something at the snack shack to eat or drink. What we really love about the Hawk is how isolated you feel on it. There's a good chance you could have this skylift all to yourself, and therefore your visit to the top all to yourself as well. It is a great ride to be able to submerge yourself in nature, and a great venue at the top to look out at the mountains and reflect. The staff here is helpful and courteous. Our only drawback with Harper Brothers Skylift is that the last ride to the top is 5 p.m. so it closes pretty early, especially compared to the other lifts. Back to Gatlinburg, we arrive at the lift at Skylift Park. In the winter of 1953, local innkeeper Rel Maples contacted Everett Kircher and asked him to build a chairlift on a mountain behind his property in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Maples made contact after reading an article in AAA magazine about Kircher's chairlift expertise gained from operating a ski area in Michigan. A survey of the site led to the construction of a road to the top and a difficult process of pouring footings for the lift towers before the team was finally able to erect the lift structure and hang the chairs. It was the first chairlift ever built in the South and opened to the public in 1954. This skylift has been a staple of the Gatlinburg tourist scene ever since. The wildfires of 2016 decimated the mountainside the skylift ascends and led to a complete renovation of the lift and buildings on the summit. Until this renovation, this was essentially a ride up and down the mountain. Now the mountaintop features many things to do, most notably the Sky Bridge. Located at the top of the iconic Skylift, 1,800 feet above sea level, the Gatlinburg Sky Bridge is the longest pedestrian cable bridge in North America. From the mountaintop sky deck, the Sky Bridge stretches almost 700 feet across a deep valley in a single span. That's longer than 2 football fields. There is also Tulip Tower, which was built in memory of a single tulip tree left standing on the mountainside after the 2016 fire. There is also a common indoor area featuring gifts and a restaurant. It is undeniable that the views from Skylift Park are some of the best in the area. This skylift is an icon here that has withstood the test of time and has overcome trials and tribulations. You have to pay homage to the original. Otherwise, the park is an attraction that is time well spent in the Smokies. This is especially true when the park is decorated for any holiday. Our only criticism would be the lack of things for kids to do on top. After going once while on vacation, it was hard to get the kids excited for a return trip. With that said, this Skylift Park comes in second only to our favorite skylift ride in the area, Anakista. Anakista also has a story shaped by the 2016 fires, as the park was built out of the ashes of that fire. Less than a year after Gatlinburg experienced a tragedy, Anakista opened its doors to the public on September 1, 2017. In the short time since opening, Anakista has become a premier attraction in Gatlinburg. You enter the park by taking a scenic chairlift ride on the Chondola, which is a word that combines gondola and chairlift. This is the world's only fixed grip chondola where guests choose to ride in an open-air 4-person chair with a bar or select an enclosed gondola cabin with seating for 6. This scenic ride takes you up 600 feet to the summit of Anakista Mountain, where you will enter the whimsical Firefly Village. If you're a fan of riding chairlifts, you are in luck with Anakista. As a side from Ober Gatlinburg's mountain lift, this ride is the longest in the area. The addition of Anakista brought views of Gatlinburg and of the Smokies from a perspective that was not previously readily available to the public. In combination with the new views, it's what you encounter on top that really sets this lift apart from the others. And many of these things come free with your paid admission. A few of these are Treetop Skywalk, Anakista Tower, Tree Venture Challenge Course, and other play areas that are free to use. For an additional charge, you have the Rail Runner Mountain Coaster, dueling zip lines, and gem mining. But there's more to come. Another mountain coaster, Hellbender, which is named after the native salamander, and Bird Venture sections of the park, both are slated to open in 2023. In our book, Anakista not only has the best attraction of any of the Skylift parks, but anywhere in the Smokies, Astralumina. In partnership with Moment Factory, Anakista built Astralumina, which is an immersive nighttime experience of sight and sound. When considering everything this skylift gives you access to, it is by far our favorite in the area. And that about does it for us. Links are provided in the description of this video for pricing and more information on the attractions featured here. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. If you made it this far, like if you liked it, comment if you're a fan, subscribe if you're feeling it. If not, that's okay too.
Wow.